Next up, job cuts by state. What have you been told? What have you been hearing? What have you been reading? Oh, it's better in the red states than it is in the blue states. Well, let's take a look. First of all, let's look at the top. 2024, there were 761,000 job cuts, at least according to data from Challenger, Gray, and various associations, U.S. Census Bureau, that went with that. However, this year, we're already seeing 1.1 million cuts just through October. So more cuts are happening this year than happened last year. What's hiding in there is job growth, and job growth has been kind of flat this year. So in other words, we have net job losses, regardless of the stock exchange being up and all the indices being up, is much different than job cuts. That's why they say that on one hand, you have Main Street, and on the other hand, you have Wall Street. So where are the job cuts? Is it blue or red? Let's find out. You look at California, the darker colors on here are more job cuts as a percent. You've got some blue states here, California, Washington, New York, and yes, New Jersey, 64,000 cuts just in New Jersey alone. That's pretty severe. Those are blue states. However, Georgia has been a typically red state, although it's gone back and forth in the last two presidential elections. And certainly Texas is not a blue state, and Florida is not a blue state. But you can see the darker states are in fact the blue states. Usually governors that do not have strong economic growth-oriented policies that are more socialistly or liberally oriented, the job cuts don't lie. Words talk, numbers scream. These are the people that are screaming because they've lost their job. So when you take a look from the smallest job losses to the highest job losses, the darker the red, the more it's hurting these people. Well, you take a look here and you look at Wyoming, Montana, and think there's been very, very few job cuts. Red states that are pro-growth or lightly populated with more stable economies have seen it. That's the truth of what's going on. So if you got friends that are feeling it, depending on where they are, what they're feeling is probably true. One more thing. 'Tis the season to be planning Christmas and New Year's with family, but more importantly, to plan next year for your business. If you're a CEO or someone that works for a CEO, or maybe you are a founder of a business, planning is key. And it never is more important than the fourth quarter, where you sit back and look at what went right, what didn't this year, and pick a methodology to plan for next year, because those who plan have a much higher percentage of making it. And Bet-David Consulting is here to help. Every year we conduct the Business Planning Workshop, a wonderful all-day workshop conducted by Patrick Bet-David in December. That's the time to plan, so that's the time that we're putting it together for you. There's a link down below where you can find about all the things you're going to learn, and at the event, you'll get your hands on an incredible workbook to guide you through the process. We hope to see you at the Business Planning Workshop.